This is what it sounds like when I warm up for this. I keep on falling in and out of love with you. And baby, I never loved someone the way that I love you. Yeah, that's right. And that's how I get this voice. It's not great. Like I don't find myself to be a great singer, but I got some power. But also, it really helps to push this voice out, because this is where my voice is comfortable, and it takes a little bit for my voice to get where it's comfortable, where I can just like talk naturally, where it feels like I don't have to like struggle to like talk in the register that I'm used to talking in. But anyway, that's my cold open. Let's do the real open. Hey. Okay. Aaron is Perfect Podcast, episode 11 in 3, 2. Hello. My name is Aaron, and you are currently watching episode 11 of Aaron is Perfect. Oh, fuck yeah, dude. We made it past 10 episodes. We're here at episode 11. I cannot believe that we've done this. It's more than just me now, you know? It's funny because I can watch how and this is not a slag against the people who are watching this or the people who have been paying attention. This is obviously not a slag toward anybody. It's all good. It doesn't matter if you watch it or not, but it's funny to see like the original supporters, the people who came out specifically to see what this was about, people who are there just to support me. It's funny watching it teeter off, because people who know me don't necessarily want to sit and listen to me fucking talk all the time, because they can ask me a question and listen to me talk whenever they want. It's just they know me personally. They have that ability to reach out, and that can happen. So this is sort of an obvious transition for this podcast. The next step for it is to maybe make it to an audience of people who don't know me personally, and eventually that might happen. And if not, doesn't fucking matter at all. This is so much fun. I'm having a fun time, and it's good for me. It's good for my brain to exercise this muscle where I can just talk about things. It helps me to rationalize how I feel about certain things, express myself, and it also helps me go, and when I look back at it later, like, well, maybe that was more of a hot take than it was your actual opinion. So it's cool because it's nice and introspective, and I get to look back at it and be like, yeah, you're a fucking idiot, or like, yeah, you know what, you're right, man. That's how you feel. That's how you feel, and you still feel that way. So it's kind of nice. This is an experiment in my own personal awareness with an M, awareness of my own self, and it's therapeutic. So it's just good. I'm gonna have my first guest appearance episode. Good friend of mine. So that's gonna be exciting, and yeah, and I think that's going to probably be for next week. So this Friday will be this podcast, and then next week will be the one with my friend. And that'll be the first time that I have a guest on. I'm not sure how well, like I'm sure it'll go great, but that will be the decider whether or not I have more guests on. I feel like it's a good idea to have guests on the show because it does help to sort of move the flow along. Also, I can bounce shit off people instead of just like expecting a reaction a couple of days later, or just like never getting a reaction to some of the things that I talk about. because that's more than likely the case. Is that I'm going to talk and talk and talk and talk, and not one person is going to reach out or say anything or comment. Which is fine. I'm not. There's no expectation here. I have no expectation for any of you listeners at all. I appreciate you being here, and if you're here, that's awesome. And if you have, heard enough, that's also awesome. It doesn't matter. It's not about that. We're just having a good time, and if this can help to sort of separate you from whatever shit is going on in your life, then that's obviously great. Maybe you can relate to some of the things that are going on in my life. Maybe you can relate to some of the issues that I have when it comes to navigating OCD. Maybe you have the same sort of thought processes that I do, or maybe you have maybe you disagree with me entirely, but at least you're hearing another perspective. And if that is what's happening, if you disagree with everything that I'm saying, especially when I get into like controversial topics, and you disagree with everything I'm saying, but you're still here and you're still listening, that's fucking huge. You should be, even though I think you're a fucking idiot and you should stop thinking the way that you're thinking, you should be super proud of yourself. You should. Not many people would go out of their way to listen to something that they completely disagree with and continue to listen. So good for you. I'm probably talking to nobody, which is a sad reality of the state of the world. I'm just going to have a quick sip of water here, if that's cool, if you guys are all right. Mm-hmm. Everybody okay? You guys good? Anybody need anything? No? Okay. Yeah, let's guess. If you need some, just yell. Just yell it if you're in your car or something. Just yell, scream really loud. Like, I need a sausage bagel, or a bagel dog. Water. So yeah, I've been finding it really difficult to assemble topics lately. And I'm sort of going through this, like, I have these stages, and I don't know, they just kind of come on whenever, but it's like how would I describe it? Like, I'll go through these like phases where I'm like living in sort of like a foggy head. Like, my head is foggy and I can't articulate, and like I fucking trip over things that are there and have been there forever, just like I'm clumsy, and like I can't, it's like I almost can't like think straight, Good thing it's Pride Month. But I feel like and I'm in the middle of it right now. So it's been really difficult for me to think of topics, and like what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to be more cognizant of the shit that goes on around me. And what's good about that is that it makes me like slow down and think about my interactions with people, think about the interactions with my wife and my kids. And I think it's really helping me to, instead of immediately react at things, because I'm the king at fucking immediate reaction, and usually it's a negative reaction. But I'm the king of that, and it's helping me to like slow things down and not react right away, because I need to like think about it. But also it makes it so that I can try and like figure out if it's a topic or not. So, I mean, like interpersonally, it's great because it gives me the ability to slow down and like think about what I'm doing, so that I don't react in the way that I normally would have reacted. But it's also making it so that I have content. So it's a weird sort of selfish thing that's working out in my benefit. And but lately I've had a hard time just honing in on that stuff. I've been less reactionary, but also I've like a fucking just my reaction time for everything is slowing down. And I think it's just one of these phases. I have these phases, and it happens I don't know, a couple times a year, where I'll go through like a week's worth of just feeling like there's a fucking fog in my brain. And I'm sure it's something chemical. Probably has to do with my diet. I'm sure I could get rid of it if I was just to eat better. But And you know what? One day that's going to happen. I go through these other phases as well. When we'll talk about phases, uh, where it's less often now that I have children, but I would go through these phases where I'm like, I'm going to get a fucking gym membership. I'm sure we all do it. And I go to the gym and I slim down and I take it seriously for about 3 months, and then I fucking completely forget about it, you know? And, but usually it's quite healthy, but I start eating healthy. I take like supplements, you know, I do everything that I feel like I'm supposed to be doing. But of course, you know, you have one fucking bender night where you eat fucking macaroni and have 7 beers, and then it's all over. Like, yeah, I guess that one night of fucking debauchery was more fun than than the 3 weeks of fucking just like burning myself out at, you know, burning the candle at both ends. But yeah, so I'm feeling a little bit foggy. So I'm sorry if this isn't as articulate today. I'm sorry if it isn't as fun or well thought out. But also, I'm not sorry, because who gives a shit, you know? We're just hanging out. But, like, it's funny, too, because this is a trait that follows me around everywhere I go. Like, even when I'm not having my foggy head, if I'm put out of my element, so if I'm going to do something that I haven't thought about at all, if I'm like put on a task, say to go to the grocery store to pick up something, you know, like, oh, do you mind running out and grabbing this? Like, yeah, sure, of course, I don't mind at all. So in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm going out and grabbing milk or something, right? So I ask the family, is there anything else that's needed? Of course, fucking 4 or 5 more things get added to that list. And of course, I'm going to forget 1 or 2 of those fucking things. But I always forget bags. So I'm walking around the fucking store, and like, it's weird because I do grocery shop. You know, I'm not the grocery shopper of the house. We have a home dynamic. There's 6 people that live there, so there's a dynamic. We all do certain things. I'm not the person necessarily who has been tasked with going grocery shopping, but we do it every so often. And sometimes I have to go out by myself to go get certain things, which is cool. Say if like we forgot something for dinner, it happens. And so yeah, I'll forget bags, but I'll walk right by the fucking buggies or the fucking shopping carts or like the basket. I'll walk right by them and I'll just walk in and I'll start doing my grocery shopping. And it's like, okay, we got to get milk. If you're getting like eggs and you're getting like fucking, I don't know, a bag of flour, you know, it's like 2 fucking heavy things and then a super fragile thing. And I'm like fucking trying to juggle them in my arms. Like I must look like that person. I must just, people look at me like, that's a man. That's a man, and that man has man brain right now. And one of my friends put it perfectly the other day. It said that I have baby brain or kid brain. And oh man, it resonated with me. I was like, I wasn't offended by any means, but I do have it. You know, there are times where like fucking I auto answer my friends, and like I fucking just zone out so often now. It's so fucking frustrating because I don't want to be like that. I never was like that. For the most part, I was pretty like cognitive and like paid a lot of attention, unless I was high, because I used to get stoned a lot, and that fucked with me. But I don't know, man. But it's all phases. I go in and out of these phases. Sometimes I'm really good. Sometimes I'll go to the grocery store and like I'll have the bags and I'll put the bags in the shopping cart and I'll walk in with the shopping cart, put everything in the cart and make sure. And like sometimes I'm fucking on it, like too on it, to the point where it's like I'm, you know, my OCD is shining through. Where like I will go through every fucking bag of milk to make sure that I find make sure I find definitely the first one, like with the longest expiry date possible, you know. And then other times I go in there without anything, like fucking not wearing pants or something, you know. It's fucking annoying. I wish I was consistent. I'm very inconsistent, and it probably drives everybody in my family crazy. The other day, I went to the grocery store to to buy a bag of chips and a couple other things. And this is kind of embarrassing, but I went to the what's it called? The fucking self checkout. And there's always somebody there to like sort of help you out. And I'm like, oh, are there bags around? Of course there's bags around. They're right, because I didn't bring any fucking bags because I'm an idiot. And like right at my fucking the till where I bring all my own shit in, there's bags right there. Like they're at the thing. I'm looking at them, asking where the fucking bags are. And of course I'm like, okay, the bags are there. No big deal. Start ringing in all my shit. And it asks me how I want to pay. And I look at the first word and I don't look at anything else. And I click debit, but I didn't realize it said debit with withdrawal. So I'm like, it comes up as like, oh, how much money do you want to withdraw? And then another screen pops up, but I can still see the screen with like how much money I want to withdraw in the background. And I'm like, fuck. And I didn't even look at the screen that popped up. I'm like, fuck, I don't know what I've done, but let me see if I can back out of this. So instead of like hitting back or something else, I touch the touch screen and I try and do touch the window behind the window that's on the front. And I accidentally tapped $40. And I didn't realize that I had even done it. I thought I was getting off the screen and I didn't. And it just said, okay, put in your fucking, like tap your card or whatever. So I did. And this grocery store self-checkout acted as a ATM for me for $40 for some reason. And I just like, I bought my shit. I bought some chips and the drink. And I got $40 cash back, even though I didn't want to. What the fuck was I doing? It's not like I had a bunch of shit going on. You know, it's not like I was really distracted. I wasn't in an argument with somebody, which is usually why I end up being fucking crazy. I was in a great fucking mood. It was Friday. It was last Friday. I was having it was a great day. There was no reason for me to be doing that. I was in no rush at all. I didn't need to get the fuck out of there. I wasn't dealing with any sort of anxiety. I certainly wasn't being OCD because fuck, man. Like, is this the opposite? Is this what it's like to not have OCD? Was that what I was experiencing? Where you just like, oh, I'm being in. I blame with that. I own language to babe. And like, do you just fucking forget everything? Do you just stop doing anything proper? Is it all fucked up? I don't feel like that's the case. I know a lot of people who don't have OCD, almost everybody in my life. And they seem to be acting normally. So why am I broken? Why do I get that curse, the curse of the broken mind? The curse of the broken mind. But yeah, that was really fucking stupid. Just accidentally take out $40 from, it's not even a fucking bank machine. I'm in a grocery store. I don't need more money. I just spent money here. I don't need to take out like physical money, especially from the place where, I mean, I don't know. I guess everybody's different, right? Maybe somebody needs that to do that. Everybody takes fucking debit now. What am I going to go do? Like get a fucking hot dog from a hot dog vendor right after? Like what else am I going to do with cash? $40 is enough to pay rent, and I highly doubt they're going to let me take out like $1,600, you know? So why do I need that cash if I've already got a debit card and pretty well everybody takes fucking debit? Who am I paying? Am I buying weed? I can do that from the government, and I can do that on my credit card. Maybe it's other drugs. That's what they're for. That's why the grocery store is an ATM, so that it can accommodate people who are buying heroin. It should just say that, come up. Do you need any heroin money? Thank you for buying asparagus and hand cream. Do you need any heroin money? Cocaine? Guns? Do you need anything that you can only buy in cash? Like diamonds. We'll give you cash for diamonds. Please insert diamonds. Imagine it said that. That'll be 1,400 diamonds. Imagine your groceries cost $1,400. I guess it kind of feels like that nowadays, doesn't it? We're gonna start paying for gas and fucking diamonds and rubies and shit at some point soon. What fucking time are we at here? 20 minutes. We've covered 20 minutes worth of material. And we have another 30 minutes. You know what that means? Me neither. I don't know. I'm enjoying just kind of sitting here. And it's kind of nice to not have to worry about what to say. You know, I do like having topics, but this just feels much more relaxed. And it feels like it feels like I get to be more myself when I don't have too many topics to talk about. I do have more, I promise. I kind of want to stretch the time out. But also it's nice to not have the pressure of having specific things to talk about. So yeah. It's interesting. This is an interesting thing. Doing a podcast. It's fun. Like I really enjoy doing this. And I really enjoy having discussions about it with other people. I like when people come up to me and ask me like how my podcast is going. And it's like, well, you would know if you watched it. But also it's like people are paying attention to the fact that I'm doing something different. And I think that it impresses some people because I know this isn't an easy or a normal thing to do. You know, I don't have a ton of friends who do this type of thing, and I think you should, even if it doesn't see the light of day, even if you don't fucking post it anywhere. I still think you should do it. It doesn't have to be like it doesn't. You don't need a big microphone. Just get your phone out and just. Whoops, that was weird. Just get your phone out and fucking record some shit. Record yourself talking. When I first started doing this, it wasn't here. It wasn't in my office. I was gonna do a podcast from my car, and it was just going to be me ranting in my car on my way back and forth to work, which is about a 7-minute drive. So each episode was going to be 7 to 10 minutes long, and it was going to be called Driving While Driving You Crazy. And it was just going to be me in my car talking while I was on my way here, essentially, where I am. And I recorded 7 episodes or 8 episodes because it's easy, right? You just put your phone in your dash and fucking talk while you're driving, which I do anyway, usually with a British accent. And it was cool because I was able to get thoughts out and, sort of prepare myself for what I'm doing right now. No, and make sure that I knew that I could do this. And it was cool. It's cool that it actually worked out the way that it worked out, because it made me confident that this is something that I can actually do. But also it made me confident that it's not going to suck. It's not going to be total shit. Because I don't think it is. I think that it's, it still has places that it can go. I could probably get zanier and crazier because that's my nature anyway. It's just usually other people around me pull that shit out of me. So whether that means I need to practice more of that shit in my car, or maybe I need to bring more people onto the show so I can spitball back and forth. We'll see what happens with the next episode, because I think that'll change the dynamic almost entirely when I have someone else here. And I'm excited for that. It's going to be so much fun. And I think you'll enjoy that episode too. I don't even have anything to talk about yet. I will. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be real good. So get ready for that. I definitely, this is a topic that I've said in the past that I shouldn't be talking about because it's not my place. But lately that's changed a little bit, in my opinion. I'm like, I struggle with trying to figure out how to start on a specific topic. This one is the topic. I'm sure you already know what I'm going to talk about, but this is the topic of current. And yeah, of course it's controversial. It's captivated the entire world. The whole world is part of it. And technically it's only one country that's doing it. But it's a beaming spotlight on how we can completely reverse progress in our society. And I know there are a lot of people in this world who disagree that there was progress made. Yeah. What I'm getting at, obviously, is this Roe versus Wade thing. What a fucking dumpster fire this is. And like at this moment in my life, I feel like it's not that polarizing of a topic, because I mean, of course it is. It's polarizing because you're either for it or you're not. But in my opinion, if you're not pro-choice, you're just wrong. Which I know not a lot of people look at it that way. I mean, probably, I'm going to say the majority of people look at it the way that I look at it. But there are still some people out there who don't. So enough people out there where, you know, there are parades of happy people excited for this, what they consider to be progress. And I don't get it. I do not understand why we can't all be on the same page with this thing. I don't fuck. It's so hard to talk about this shit because, of course, there are so many people talking about it. There are thousands and millions of people saying the same fucking thing, and I'm sure I'm going to repeat a lot of that stuff too. And it's like you want to say something new about it, but at the same time, it's not that fucking complicated. Like it is, because everything is, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that fucking complicated. Okay? Yes, of course, it shouldn't be a decision. To have an abortion should not be something you take lightly. The very vast majority of people who have to make that decision are not making it just be like, whatever. Like, at least I can get an abortion if I need to. Not one human being on the face of the earth has said that. And I'm in the midst of a conversation with someone about it. And I appreciate the conversation. And it's nice to have the conversation. It's not nice. Actually, all of it is bullshit. We shouldn't even have to fucking talk about it, to be honest. It's just a joke. The whole fucking thing is a joke because science exists. Science is here. Science has made something like this available because it was necessary. And not just for medical purposes. Okay? I'm going to say this. Sometimes you need an abortion because you don't want a fucking baby. And I understand the miracle of life. I understand that life is beautiful. It's this incredible thing that, that we should definitely go, oh my God, that is fucking unbelievably cool. That we can do this. Yes, it is beautiful. It is unbelievably beautiful and great and wonderful. Not for everyone though. Having a child is not for everyone. And I can say this with every extent of my personal experience, that having a child completely removes you from your own life, because you are not there for you anymore. You're there for them almost only. And yeah, I get to do things like this, of course, and I get to eat what I want. I go to work. I still do all the things for me, but that's not where my brain is. Even right now, when I'm doing all this and thinking about all that, my brain is there. Like, I'm there. I am still 100% for my children. If I get a call right now and say, like, somebody fell and scraped their knee, you think I'm going to finish this fucking podcast? Of course not. Like, and it's not because I know it's my duty. It's because I am physically and mentally attached to my children. And like, it's important. And it takes a certain type of person to be able to do that. And I don't mean to have the capabilities to do that. I mean to be prepared for that complete shift in your fucking life. And I think the less people in this world who are not prepared for that, who make sure to not get fucking pregnant, the more people to not get pregnant because they know that they're not prepared for it, the better. Right? Tell me I'm fucking wrong. One of the arguments that was being made was that people were using the abortion as contraception. Like, that's how they make sure that they don't have kids, is they make sure to get an abortion every fucking time that they have sex or something, every time that they get pregnant, instead of using contraception. You know the word I'm trying to say. And it baffles me because it's nobody likes going to the doctor. First of all, nobody likes to go get procedures done. People have a hard time going in and getting a fucking needle. You think that they're going to be like, oh, I'll just have a fucking abortion. Like, that is a very invasive procedure that requires specific types of doctors, right? And there are so many stories, and this is fucking horrible. There are so many stories in Canada, this isn't even in the States, where women will go to get an abortion, which they fucking don't want to do because nobody wants to get a fucking abortion, no matter what your fucking view is. Nobody wants to go get an abortion. Nobody's using it as contraception. That's just not happening. You may think that, but you're wrong. And so they go to a fucking abortion clinic, or a place that's set up to look like a fucking abortion clinic, and it ends up being this fucking religious hostel where they try and convince you, they shame you into having this fucking child. This is a real thing that happens in Canada. These are places that are set up and advertised as abortion clinics, but end up being these religious places where they go, you have to have this baby, you're going against God, it's a sin to fucking whatever. It's like, what fucking planet are we on? Where are we? Why are we doing this still? And then they overturn Roe versus Wade. Or I guess Roe. I don't know. I don't know how to fucking do it. I'm not educated on the terminology. But like, here's the other thing. If you've got someone out there who is fucking dumb enough and like so unconcerned with their own well-being that they go and they get a fucking abortion every time that, like, and using it almost as contraception, or just being like, yeah, fuck it, like, it's okay if I get pregnant, I'll just have an abortion. Do you want that baby here? Do you want that person who is so incapable of taking care of themselves properly to have a child? You want that kid in this world? truthfully, like, I had a temperamental childhood. Some of that was brought on by myself, but it wasn't great. It was hard. And it was nowhere near the negative space that it could have been. And I still have like immense childhood trauma. I've got fucking OCD because of the world that I was surrounded in. That shit fucked me up. And it's not like I was abused. I wasn't. But I can guarantee you that if I was grown up or brought up by people who didn't give a fuck about me at all, or if I was brought up by somebody on like crazy drugs, or, you know, if I was brought up by the fucking foster system, you better believe I ain't going to have fucking significant problems. Ones that will be completely undiagnosed. I'll probably end up on the fucking street. I spent time living homeless in the streets of fucking Toronto. And I had an okay upbringing. Wasn't amazing, but I'm not going to sit here and fucking complain about it. Right? They brought me into this world, and it wasn't a great upbringing, and I'm fucked up. So imagine a baby who's brought into the world by some fucking, I don't know, person who, first off, doesn't want a baby, maybe on all sorts of drugs. That type of shit does already happen. You hear about fucking babies in dumpsters and shit? That type of shit happens because those people don't have abortions. And that's like, you know, that's not even the most common version of this. There are so many different types of pregnancies that have to be aborted because of health reasons. Which is another, like, a topic that people are talking about constantly. And that's what fucking blows my mind is that's enough. That is enough information to know that this is a required thing. And I understand that, like, reversing Roe versus Wade means that they're leaving it up to all the states and the states can make up their mind, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, that's fine. But that shouldn't be even anything. It should just be universally recognized that an abortion should be open to anyone who requires it. It doesn't matter who the fuck you are. It doesn't. If you have a uterus and there's a baby inside and that baby is either like has some serious health problems or causing its carrier serious health problems or is completely unwanted, or maybe, who knows, maybe the fucking the birth mother is a fucking opiate addict and that the baby comes out with a fucking opium addiction, because that shit happens too. Like, does that shit have to be carried to term? Huh? These are real questions that have fucking real answers. And the answer to that one is no. Right? If a baby is not wanted, then what type of fucking life is that baby going to have? You're fucking pro-life? You're pro what type of life? What kind of life are you going to fucking offer this child whose parents are fucked up, or maybe the dad's dead, or maybe the mom is a fucking murderer? Maybe your mom is fucking 10 years old because the mom's stepdad fucking raped her. You have no fucking clue, man. And when that type of shit happens, because it does, because people are fucking gross and shitty, that baby should not be fucking born. Right? It's incredible to think that 6 fucking people, it was 6, right? Maybe 7, I don't know. I think it was 6 fucking people can make this change, can make this decision for 300 million fucking people. and just be like, yeah, that was a good idea. It wasn't a good idea. It was dumb. It was irresponsible. And it was done because of religion. That's why it was done. There was no fucking moral compass here. There was no fucking, there was no weighing the options. It was somebody's fucking religion who said, this is a sin and it needs to be reversed. Science. Okay? Every living species on Earth has offspring. Some of them make it, some of them don't. It's part of the world. It's part of what this whole fucking organism is. Science, we created it. It's our thing. It's something that we were like, that's something that set us obviously apart from every other species on Earth. And you know what it did? It gave us the ability to control our future a little bit, to guide ourselves into a positive place. And the only thing in the world that we also fucking created that is holding us fucking back from being a species that can actually fucking save themselves, your fucking religion, man. That's it. That's the only thing that is keeping us from making actual, real, tangible fucking progress in this world is religion. Because, people decided that they required this to be good people, to make the right decisions. Do you think that maybe there's a possibility that that fucking book doesn't have all the right fucking decisions in it? Do you think that maybe there's a possibility that everything in that book might be right for you, but isn't right for every single living 8 billion person on this fucking earth? I don't even know who I'm talking to. Probably anybody who's listening to this agrees with me. But it's so frustrating. And I appreciate people having religion. It's totally fine. It doesn't sound like I'm okay with it, but it's fine. You can have religion. You can enjoy the fruits of whatever fucking religion it is that you're part of. But fuck, you can't let that control the options for like millions of people. And this whole fucking we're pro-life, we want to protect children, and then fucking having these mass fucking shootings in schools because you can't get rid of your fucking guns? What the fuck? Think about this. And I'm sure these fucking politicians have thought about it. And I'm sure they have rebuttals for everything, but it's so much more simple than that. You don't have to make it so fucking complicated. Yes, it's a complex issue. The whole issue as a whole is very complex because there are so many different things at play here. But when you boil it right down, the guns are the problem in that situation because those two situations are completely separate. The guns are the problem in that situation, and religion is a problem in the other one. Your religion should not be anywhere near these issues at all, especially when it's political. Yeah, if you're religious and you don't believe in abortion, don't get an abortion then. Obviously. It's just so fucking broken. And, we're sitting here having these fucking discussions and overturning, giant pieces of legislature that are that keep people fucking safe and don't bring in human beings who are completely unwanted, who will turn into more people who are going to have babies who are going to be unwanted, because that's the systemic, that's the way that the system has created this problem is these people are brought into the world by shitty people, and then they end up being shitty people too, and bringing more shitty people into the world. So let's be more particular about how and what type of person we allow to enter this world. Or at least have the ability to make the fucking choice. It's just fucking science. Nobody's getting hurt. You don't hear the fucking baby crying in the womb, right? Nobody's getting hurt. There's no pain except for the mom. This is just science. Maybe it's not nature. Is that the problem? It's not natural? We are more than capable of changing our nature with science. And that's okay. I don't know why we're so fucking afraid of it. You know, like I understand like, oh yeah, GMOs and shit. Like it can be problematic. Yeah. In the 70s when they started doing this shit, like doing fucking science with food, probably not a great idea. But that back then, doctors said that smoking was good for you. It's very different now. And I know, you know, we're going to start getting into the like, oh, well, they fucking, you know, like big pharma has it out for you. It's like, it's all about money. Yeah, of course it is. Obviously it is. But once again, and I've said this in an earlier podcast, yes, big pharma, fucking evil. Corporations, fucking evil. They want you to be around, though, so they can continue to exploit you. They don't want to kill you. Yeah, maybe they want to make you fat, but you're still you. Right? And there are lots of options to make sure that you don't get fat. There are like wellness clinics. There are thousands and thousands upon thousands of different types of gyms, fucking boot camps, you know, life coaches. We're set up. We have every possible thing that we could possibly fucking want around us. We don't have to take all these things that people are... I don't need to fucking take Cialis if my dick stops working. I don't have to if I don't want to. Right? You're not being told that you have to do this shit. Right? You have a choice everywhere else in the world. You even had a choice to take the fucking vaccine. And yeah, I know it pisses you off that you weren't allowed to fly, but I'm sorry. Millions of people died. Millions of fucking people died. In the first year... the amount of people that died from the Spanish flu in its fucking entirety died in 1 year with COVID. The Spanish flu. Do you understand? And then it doubled and tripled after the next year and a half. It's not difficult to understand what the fuck is going on here. It's funny because all situations are so complex, but the answers are almost always the easiest fucking answer. The first thing that you can fucking think of, and I think that's the problem. It's like the answer is so simple that I think people are like, it can't be that simple. It usually is. For the most part, it usually is. Yeah, people are shit. There are people who are going and getting abortions and being like, oh, whatever, I'll just get a fucking abortion. That, of course, exists because every possible scenario exists in this world. But that's not the most common. The most common is people have sex because they do, and that's because they need something to, you know, help them get off because that's human nature. And also, they need to break up the fucking, like, monotony of life, especially when they are people who live in, you know, difficult places in their head or literally, you know, that's the only way to get out of those situations. It's like, you know, whenever I have a hangover, I wank. And for that moment when I'm wanking, I feel pretty good. And then when it's over, I feel like a bag of shit again. But sometimes people need that release just to snap out of their world. Whatever. People just have sex. It's just fine. It's fine. They can have sex. It doesn't matter. That's what the fucking shit is for. Yeah, maybe, okay, yeah, it is there specifically to reproduce, but we have a conscience now. We are conscious people walking around the world with millions of thoughts with these crazy dynamic squishy brains. So, yeah, like, We now can go, oh, I'm going to look at porn instead. I'm just going to wank and shoot these little fucking things all over the place instead of like definitely inside of a person and definitely having this baby. We have the option now. Why not the fuck take it? But yeah, there aren't millions and billions of people out there thinking that fucking getting an abortion is just an easy way out. Because it isn't. I personally have had to accompany a few people at a fucking abortion clinic, and it's horrible. It's absolutely fucking devastating. The people are not happy. It is horrible. A horrible experience. And you know what's even more horrible? Is that when you go to those places, both times I went, there were people outside being like, you're killing a baby. Like, just making these women feel horrible about what they're doing. And that's not right. Because not only should it be a choice, it should also be okay. You should be okay with it. I know it sucks. Nobody thinks it doesn't suck. We have the option, though. The option is here, and it's saving people's lives. It may sound like you're fucking killing someone, but that person isn't there. Do you remember being that? Whatever that was? Do you remember being a zygote? Do you remember being a clump of salty cells? Do you even remember being a fetus? How did that feel? Do you remember growing your penis? Remember that? Remember back in the day when your legs were just little nubs and you were still growing your feet? Man, that was annoying, eh? God, when I could only swim. Oh. Fuck. Remember that fucking umbilical cord? Remember that? Remember how that felt on your tummy? Yeah. Me neither. It's a joke. It's a fucking joke. And it's not a funny one. It's a fucking nightmare. And it never should have fucking happened this way. And it's here. It's not just in the States. It's here in Canada. It's very difficult to get an abortion in Canada still, mainly because of the lack of clinics, but also the people make it difficult. That's why you never hear about people getting abortions in Canada, because you don't hear about it. Basically just said the same thing. Because first off, people don't want to talk about it, obviously. And second off, because it's really fucking hard to find a place that will do it. And some doctors won't even fucking recommend or make recommendations or give you a fucking, a referral. Some doctors like don't believe in it either. And I love to trust medical professionals, but as soon as you fucking enter God into this shit, we're done. It's over. Be real. Be realistic. Evolve. Evolution of us is so fucking important. Part of our evolution is science. And yeah, we're going to fuck it up a lot. We already did. How many vaccines killed how many people? It just happened. It wasn't for the lack of trying to make something available. And if they didn't make this fucking vaccine for COVID, how many more fucking people would have died? How many? Millions and millions and millions upon millions. That was an aggressive fucking virus. I say was. It's still here. It's still killing people now. And I don't, I appreciate if you think that this whole thing was, brought on to fucking help decrease population, or this whole thing was brought on by China or some crazy shit. And maybe you're right. The problem is that it was here. It is here. And luckily enough, we've made it over the real hard part, but it's still pretty fucking hard. And there's still people out there who are dying and suffering and, are upside down on a fucking ventilator. It's still happening. And it's been proven time and time again that the fucking vaccine has worked. Yeah, you have the odd issue, and you will always have the odd issue because science is not perfect and it never fucking will be. There are certain things that we have done that are that work really well. But even fucking like antibiotics, right? You take enough antibiotics and they stop working. That's why you're not supposed to have that much of it. You know, if you can get through a sickness without it, then do that, because your body will eventually adapt to that shit and it will stop helping to get rid of whatever fucking ailment that you have. That science has been around for years, and we're constantly trying to fix that problem, and we can't. It's not plausible. That's the halt. Currently, that is where we have halted the evolution of antibiotics. And eventually, I'm sure we'll figure it out. But if we don't have the options, if we don't continually research and figure it out, and yeah, people fucking die. And it's awful. And I can't even imagine the suffering that people go through in the name of science. It sucks. And I'm not necessarily for it. But I'm also not fully against that. We will always be researching. We will always be doing our best. Like, even with this fucking vaccine, you call it fucking experimental. Like, just fucking read the shit. Read everything. I know that you're reading all the fucking, like, the fucking, you know, the experimental vax fucking newspaper or whatever. I know you're reading all that shit. Read everything, though. Read all the other shit, too. Stop reading just these fucking, like, it's so fucking frustrating. Like, I love the people who are against mainstream media. I find it so fucking hilarious. It's like, oh, don't trust the mainstream media. And then they go read something on fucking, like, 4chan, and like that's suddenly their fucking that's where they're getting their information from. It's like, how about you don't believe everything you see on everything? Remember how they used to say don't believe everything you see on television? It's different now. Now it's don't believe everything you see on everything. Because you can't trust your source, no matter what you fucking think. No matter how many like fucking grafts and how many fucking doctors are sitting there fucking talking about it and fucking trying to convince you, you don't have to fucking believe that. It's very likely that what you're hearing is some skewed fucking viewpoint from somebody who wants to fucking either sell you something or sound smart. It's not necessarily going to be the truth. And that goes for both sides. So just fucking go on with your life. Stop being so fucking opinionated. Definitely do not bring your fucking religion into the conversation ever, because especially if you're talking to me, I immediately go, oh, you're wrong. You're a fucking idiot. Religion has nothing to fucking do with anything. That was created by us because we couldn't figure it out with science. So we went, must be the stars. It's not always like that. The stars don't always have an effect on everything. Right? And now we have science, and it's here. We don't have a need for religion anymore. It's not required anymore. I went to fucking Prague, one of the oldest cities pretty well in the world. It was the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my entire life, and it's very artsy. They're very art driven people, and what I thought was kind of the coolest thing about it, which maybe some of you will disagree, is that the majority of the citizens were atheists, because and there's, like, you can see there's tons of art pieces all over the city that are like, you know, anti-religion and stuff. And they did it because religion had toppled that city so many times. Like, there were so many religious wars fought in that space that they went, what are we doing? Why are we fighting over something we don't even see? We just think it. You might think you feel something. Maybe you do. Maybe you feel the energy. The world is full of all sorts of different types of energies, right? Mainly magnetic energy and electricity. Those are the two main big ones that are, that's like a fucking, that's what we're made of. Negative and positive kinetic energy. And that's why we all, that's why your body sticks together. That's how cells stick together. Fucking negative and positive neutrons and protons and shit. Yeah. Science. Don't I sound smart? But we know that. We know that that's our makeup. And it's, I don't know. I don't know where to even stop that conversation, but and it went so many different directions. But as you can tell, I have a lot of feelings when it comes to abortion, when it comes to religion, and when it comes to how people seem to digest information. I have a real fucking problem with it because they consistently land on something and they're like, this is the way that it fucking is. And yeah, like, it may seem like I'm landing on those places too, especially when it comes to things like abortion. But it's more like it's not like I'm sitting here being like, abortion is correct and we should have abortion and blah, blah, blah. It's more like, it sucks, but it's here. And if you don't allow it to be here now, even though it's been here for 50 fucking years in law here, the States, you shouldn't just fucking take it away. And when it comes to religion, believe what you see. Believe what you feel and what you hear. Believe your senses, because they will tell you everything that's around you. And if you're sensing something else, then it might be time to go see a psychologist. If you're hearing voices, or you think that God is talking to you, I think that you might have something else going on. That's my personal opinion. People are like, oh, trans people are, like, it's a mental illness. Religion is a mental illness, man. Trans people are just people. They're just people. The brain has all sorts of things that it can do. Sometimes your body is male and your brain is female. Sometimes that just happens. That's okay. Fucking deal with it. Don't fucking go against it because the fucking Sky Daddy told you that it was like the wrong thing to fucking do in some book that's been rewritten 16,000 fucking times. Like, that's the mental illness. Okay? That's not the one of the mental illnesses is blindly believing something like that without any actual physical proof. That's the fucking mental illness. And you were getting fucking played because people are going, oh, yeah, okay. Well, that's perfect. Let me create some fucking, I don't know, some dialogue or some fucking tests or something that will help to push that fucking narrative forward so that not only did you believe it, but now here's some fucking graphs and paperwork to tell you why you're right. And people just fucking make that shit up. For both sides. For all sides. So, yeah, I gotta call it because I'm gonna be late for work. But like I said, don't believe everything you see on everything. If you are reading something and it is a controversial piece and it's going against the mainstream narrative, there's a possibility that it could be fake. It's more likely that it's fake. And I'm not just telling you that because I believe certain things. I'm telling you that because the first thing to come out is usually the thing. And then the next thing to come out is an argument against the thing. And then usually that argument is supposed to be backed up by a bunch of shit. But now people have the ability to just make that up. Because anybody will fucking believe it and take it. Look where we fucking are now. Nobody can believe anybody. Nobody can believe politicians. Everybody's at fucking odds with one another because, oh, nobody knows what the fucking truth is, but some people think, oh, well, this is definitely the truth. This is definitely the truth. Let's go down to fucking Ottawa and protest and honk our fucking horns there forever because the world is in lockdown. Like, it's a fucking mess. Clean it up. Clean it up. You do something. Anyway, I'll finish on this note. If for some reason Canada has anything to do with abortion overturned and it gets even harder, I'm going to be out on the fucking picket lines. It's real. I'm going to do it. I need to. I know that I'm a man, and I know that I have tons of privilege in my life, and I'm very lucky, and I've never had to necessarily deal with anything related to that. Just like only surface. And I know this isn't my fight, but it is now. It is now because I have to step up as a man and be like, this is on me too. Excuse me. Don't let that devalue my opinion, my talking points here. I'm here for this cause, and it needs to be set straight. Science over religion every day. And don't believe everything you see on everything. And also, sorry this got so fucking heated and weird. Next week will be better. Next week won't be so intense. Because I'll have a guest, and it's going to be lots of fun. And I hope you enjoy it. And I hope you enjoyed this episode. And I would love to hear your opinion. It's likely that I will not necessarily respond because I'm still trying to work it out in my head, as you can tell by how fucking flippant everything was and how fucking all over the place I was about that. All these topics. But I don't want to hear about people's like hardened stances. I just don't want to hear about it. Actually, no, I don't necessarily want to reply. I want to hear about it so I can argue with you in my own head. But feel free to reach out to me. Once again, my Instagram is Aaron_is_perfect_podcast. You can find me on Spotify or Apple Music, just Aaron is Perfect. Reach out to me through email, which is aaronsperfect@gmail.com, AARONSPERFECT@gmail.com. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate it, guys. And, if you're still with me after this episode, then fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah, man. Woo! Thanks so much. See you next week. Goodbye.